Welcome back. In this video, I want to go over a simple build that I've done numerous times. This is a plate that I have accomplished 3A levels, which is basically most pistol rounds that has been done probably a few times, countless times on the internet. I want to show you my method and how I did it, what materials I used. And at the end of the video, I'm actually going to show you the process that I used in building this plate. So let's go ahead and basically show you what I use. So I know a lot of people have brought up the welding blanket and this and that works. It does work. It's been done in the past. You can go to the home, the home center or here and there and find welding blankets and cut them. But welding blankets, some of them do have coatings. Those coatings can keep the epoxy from adhering, correctly. So what I went ahead and did is I just broke down exactly what I use. These are the materials, basically fiberglass and epoxy resin. The fiberglass, it needs to be specific. There is a certain weight and a certain type that seem to be a little bit, better suited for impact. The woven in a plain weave, in the weight of that is 18 ounces or 610 grams per square meter. And the cost of that is about $10 for a width of 50 inches by however many yards you want. So 1 yard, 36 inches by 50 inches, costs about $10 more or less. And then the epoxy I use, it's just a traditional epoxy resin kit with a hardener and the resin. And most of those kits, good value kits cost about $2 per ounce. I use Total Boat resin, that's the brand name, and I use it with the slow hardener because with many layers applied, you don't want to have to be rushing, and so that's what I use. That costs about $2 per ounce. So, and the build for this basically needs 25 layers of the woven roving fiberglass and about 8 to 12 ounces of epoxy resin. So what I'm gonna do is we're gonna go ahead, take the plate out to the range now, go ahead and hit it with all sorts of different pistol calibers, and then at the end of the video, like I said, I'm gonna show you the build, exactly what I did step by step, and go from there. So I hope you enjoy. Okay, back at the range, and we're about to test out this awesome homemade fiberglass ballistics plate. It should be rated level 3A, enough to stop a .44 Magnum. We're going to go ahead, start with 9mm all the way through to .44. We got 5.7, 357. Going to hit this with quite a few things. So let me show you what it can handle. So we're going to go ahead and start with 9mm 124 full metal jacket out of the CZ Shadow 2, and let's see what it does. Clear. Excited. Okay, so that's where the 9mm hit, and as you could see, nothing passed through, and not even anything worth trying to measure for back face deformation. Okay, moving up. All right, so next up, we're gonna go 357 with the Colt Mark III. 357, 180 grain. Here we go. Dang. Okay, so we are about an inch from the top. Got something right there. Definitely pushed it back more than 9mm. Let's take this off. See what happened. No, it did not go through. Very little delamination also. Okay, so now we're moving up to the 44. We got the Taurus tracker. We got a 240 grain jacketed soft point, and we got our fiberglass up there. So
Let's hit this with the 44. We've got a few more rounds after this, but let's hit it with the 44 and see if we can prove that what we have there is level 3A. Ah! Hit the edge. There we go, 44 once again. There we go, there's a fair shot. Okay, so as you could see, we pretty much destroyed the clay here. We are right off the edge, but let's see. This is the 44 with a clean shot. Nothing. We are stopping that 44 easily. Very little back face deformation. Slightly bigger than the 357. But that one just skirted right off the edge. Still, almost no delamination. Very interesting. All right, let's get some specialty rounds. Okay, so now we're gonna try speed to get through that thing. We got the Palmetto State Armory 5.7 Rock, shooting 5.7 by 28, 40 grain SS 197 Fiocchi ammunition. Let's see what we could do. Let me turn on the, okay, here we go. Clear. Okay, so just a refresher, 9mm, 357, 44. This is the 5.7 by 28. Let's see. This goes through quite a bit of armor. Let's see what we did. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Not even an indentation. That is beautiful. Well, we're not going to leave it at that. So we're going to keep on hitting this thing. Okay, so now we'll be shooting the Glock 19. We got some G2 research, 9mm plus P. These things are traveling awfully fast. Not exactly sure. I might go ahead and put it here or here if I find it on the website. Otherwise, let's see what we can get with some 9mm. Hit the edge. Okay. Second one was good. Okay, so first shot I pulled left, obviously, went in here, but check this out. It just completely stopped that round. I mean, we are talking sticking out of the plate. So obviously very little back face deformation. Okay, let's just keep on hitting it. We got more. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead. We got a 40 Smith & Wesson here, 180 grain full metal jacket. See what we can do with this. All right, clear. We have 357, 44, 40, 9mm hollow point, 5.7. And this is the 40. I can see it right there. Does not look like it went through. Did not. We are still doing fine. Finally getting a little delamination. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 center here. And it's still holding up. We're going to keep on going though. Next. All right. We are now going 45 ACP. We got a 230 grain full metal jacket. Hitting that thing again. Let's keep on hitting that and see what we can get. Yeah. Somehow we have metal coming out of the top here. This is where we hit it with the 45. Still nothing. Nothing. This plate has survived it all. Even these edge shots, they skirted out, they did not go through. So we are gonna go and hit it with a rifle just to get through. This is 3A, so not meant for rifle at all, but I think we'll hit 7.62 by 39 or the 5.56, maybe both of them. Okay, so we got the 7.62 by 39 Ruger American Wrench. Time to get through that plate. This is not rated for rifle at all, but we're gonna go ahead and shoot it with this and just see what might happen. Okay, there we go. Woo! Clear. Okay, so here's the 7.62 by 39, and that is its limitation. Let's see what it did to the clay. Oh, yep. Definitely don't use 3A rated stuff for rifle protection.
So to prep for the build, I cut 25 10 by 12 inch pieces of woven roving fiberglass. I use a curved piece of metal as a form and parchment paper to keep the resin from sticking. As I stated earlier, I use a Total Boat brand epoxy resin. This is a 5-to-1 mixture with a slower set hardener. At this point, I mix the epoxy and the hardener together. I go ahead and mix by hand, roughly about 1 minute. Make sure it's all mixed together, scraping the sides, and make sure I don't mix too hard and create too many bubbles. After this point, I just get a 2-inch chip brush. I like to apply a little bit of epoxy down on the parchment paper just so that the first layer of fiberglass doesn't move around too much. And as you could see, I basically coat a light coating of epoxy on every layer from this point forward. Now, as exciting as this is, let's speed this up a little bit, and surprisingly this only took about 15 minutes total to get all 25 layers. But let me speed through this so we can get to the end of that. So now as I get to the end of the last few pieces of fiberglass, I have taken 15 minutes. Now, even though this is a slow set hardener, it's only got about 20 minutes of working time. So from here, I add another layer of parchment paper on top of the fiberglass, and I'll quickly, measure that out, put that on. And then I have the reverse form of this that's in metal, and which I'll use to compress this. Normally you're fine just using standard clamps, but I've devised a press that I put this in. It's a 12-ton press, so I go ahead and raise this up to a point where it's nice and level. So here I give this a good squeeze. What I want to do is try to remove as much air pockets between the layers, and also, as you can see here shortly, any excess epoxy will start to drip out from both sides. This strengthens the plate as well as lightens it. Total weight for this plate when it was completely done was about 2 pounds 14 ounces, so just under 3 pounds. So 24 hours later, I go ahead and remove it from the press and go ahead and take the parchment paper off. And what I'm left with here is basically the ballistic plate. I need to draw a shape on it and go ahead and cut it out with a diamond blade. Now after the rough cut, I go ahead and grind the edges a little bit more, and this is what you're left with. 10 by 12 pressed fiberglass plate that is rated 3A. So there you go, from start to end. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much.